It was the end of the jungle phase. We got about just under 24 hours R&R, rest and recuperation. And then it was time to get our kit packed and go again. But that was after a bit of laundry and some repairs. And then we were taken, I remember, a fast boat. What an incredible experience that was. And we were taken to an uninhabited island, and that was going to be home for the next 4 nights with limited rations. And we got to rely on our primitive skills we were taught, basically starting fires, collecting water. And obviously, we want food, you want protein, it's fish. And I cannot stand fish, but we were also doing spear fishing, and we had some nets. The island phase was a lot less physical than the jungle for sure, but by a country mile. But it was still challenging in its own way, and there was a lot to learn. And Andy, the DS, took us through how to create, hunting tools and starting fires with just our blades. Unfortunately for me, whilst making one of my particular fire starting set of tools, I managed to put the blade through about an inch or so through the inside of my left leg, so I had to get evacuated by boat that night. And one of the members of the team, a paramedic, Tom, thank you Tom, came with me, but I was back on the island the next day, plus stitches and antibiotics.
Because we're capturing the beauty now before we look at the horrors.
This real surprising part you're going to see now. Coming off this beautiful beach, you start heading in and we just see what's been washed out. You follow me around, just watch yourself there. And bear in mind, this is just a small area we're in, but this will be typical across all of the beaches around these islands, around these archipelagos. Huge amounts of plastic that's just been washed up. So, keeping in mind the plastic we see here is pretty big, bulky plastic. What we're not seeing is a much smaller stuff, and that's the stuff that you'll find all the various species of birds will eat that plastic, sometimes thinking it's a food source, to bring it back to their young ones, and unfortunately poisons them and kills them. So you can end up with thousands of chicks on the beach literally starving because their parents haven't returned due to the amount of plastics that are making their way into the sea and onto the beaches. So not just large plastics is the concern, we've also got lots of polystyrene coming by on these beaches. When that breaks up and you end up with these tiny little balls, we don't even know if we're walking on sand or polystyrene, in some cases a mixture of both, and that is what the local wildlife mistakes as food, will eat it and obviously later die. And it's a real travesty. I mean, we export so much of our plastic in the UK overseas to be recycled, but as you may find on some YouTube channels around Malaysia, there's plenty of rogue recyclers that simply just burn it or ditch the plastic. So we need to change our habits. It's the only way we're going to get away from this dilemma, is actually humans changing the way that we like to purchase and the way that we like to procure things, in a way such as coffee, and we all like that Costa coffee, or shouldn't mention brands, so I'll throw, I don't know, Starbucks in at the same time. But single-use plastics, in any case, we need to be avoid them at all costs. That last day, as we boarded the boat, there was this kind of strange sense, I think, knowing it had all finally come to an end. And also, we'd been on the island, for those 4 nights. I guess I feel like Tom Hanks when he's leaving the island from Castaway, it's bittersweet. When we arrived at our final hotel, which was far more glamorous to the backpacker rooms, which we'd been accustomed to when we weren't in the jungle, which were fine still, but it really brought home just how humbling the experience was. And, for example, to have air conditioning or having a tap, you have running water, you can have access to a wide menu of foods cooked for you. It was just surreal. We had, at the end of it, we still had all our bites to deal with. I think nobody escaped ultimately. Some had not fared as well as others, and sandflies had really left some huge irritation and bites all over some people's bodies. I seemed to escape with a few small bites, and heat rash really is all. So I was quite lucky. I have to say my cohort and team were amazing, and the DS, well,
they made it an unforgettable 2 weeks. So a big thanks and shout out to Mad Dog Adventures and the DS, and our DS for that particular trip, which was Mark, Matt and Andy, and with support from Tom, who's the paramedic. You guys kept us safe, you instilled the life skills for survival, and you really did provide a truly unforgettable experience. It just leaves me to ask those of you who've enjoyed the vlogs to kindly sponsor me. Any amount of money is appreciated, and it supports ASHRAE UK chapter research promotion fundraising. Thank you all.